we put together a couple talking points from our Megacamp notes. And so some of the things we wanted to cover are like the disappearing cap management, winterization. How are some of these market centers getting to like a 3-to-1 conversion ratio? So maybe some of the virtual market center stuff and mastermind around that. But I'd love to start with the first thing that I think is I'm hearing a lot about and I'm seeing people have success with, which is the disappearing cap. So Isaac, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Cool, man. Well, thanks for the introduction. Jeremiah's, one of my buddies here, so I appreciate that. And yeah, so disappearing cap, right? So I remember I was like all of you guys, John Davis had this announcement and we're going to watch this video and all these things. And I think I kind of heard about it. Not really. Yeah, I knew some people were playing with it. And so when he did it, we got pretty excited. And for us, what we're doing is we're rolling it out. We first talked to the ALC about it, right? Because they stand to gain a lot from it. They have a lot of influence. They're already our #1 referral source. Now, one thing I think gets skipped a lot and I hear a lot about whenever I talk with team leaders, wherever I'm at, is how do y'all get so many leads? Like we actually have a really good track record for getting leads. Now, I never had run or been a recruiter in any type of Keller Williams office before, so I didn't know that it wasn't normal to get 5-6 leads a week from your agent population. And so one of the things that we had done is Jeremiah had done, and I was able to step into, was build a culture around referrals, right? Getting agents excited. Now, I think one of the factors in there that's not easily duplicatable right away, like you can't go out and do it this week, is be very profitable, right? So profit share is always a key thing that you can lean on if you're profitable. If you're not, it's still a good goal to have. And so disappearing caps, I see those two as connected, because disappearing caps aren't going to be as impactful if you're not already cultivating a culture of referrals from your agent population, right? So for me, disappearing caps is just
so I'm going to stop you there for a second. What are 2 things that the 35 other people on this call could do in the hour after the call to get more referrals from their agents?
Good question. It's exactly what you tell your agents to do. What is your sphere of influence in your market center? You can literally go door knock, right? You can also pull green sheets. I know Terram data or whatever it is, if you have broker metrics or whatever, they actually will just show you who all your co-op agents have been. And so it's a matter of going out there and asking for the business, right? Who would have thought that doing exactly what you tell your agents to do would work out in your market center, right? So that's one of the big things that we do, is we just go out and we go straight to, hey, who can I talk to? I ask for business. I interrupt every single class I can. I let all of our people that are coming in doing like lunch and learns, the vendors, I let them know at a certain point, I'm going to walk through the back. I'm going to wait. If there's people that were invited outside of our market center, I'm going to get their contact information. I'm going to talk to them. But primarily with our agent population, I ask all the time. So it's just the same way we tell our agents, you should always be asking for business. One of the easiest lines we use in real estate, and I teach all the agents, is, hey, and I learned this straight from Jeremiah, his first year in business, is I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask, who do you know that I should be talking to about real estate? I just talk to that. I just use that same script with our agents. So, hey, thanks so much. It was a pleasure. Rock and roll. Give them a high five on their, they just capped, right? Like every time one of our agents caps, I'll take them out to lunch and I say, hey, I wouldn't be doing my job. You've been doing a great job. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask you, who have you talked to recently that we should be talking about making the move to Keller Williams? Who would you like to work with? So I think that's the lowest hanging fruit to cultivate that culture.
So there's a question in the chat, and I'm curious about this too, because Joy said, how do you pull co-op agents from broker metrics? I think that's a new feature with their new app, right?
Yes. It's like literally, I just found out about it maybe the week before Megacamp. Brokerkit and disappearing cap. Here's how I see the two connect in my head is, one, how do you track disappearing caps, right? How do you manage that with your agents? Well, one, we all know, get them to refer. We always talk about use your Get Brokerkit landing page, all that fun stuff. And then honestly, in the agent notes, we just put a hashtag and we say hashtag disappearing cap referral 1, hashtag disappearing cap 2. And so we do a lot of that because we want to track it. We want to encourage the agents that are out there doing that. They're helping us build our business the same way, again, we always teach our agents, have a client appreciation event. The people that we track, how many people refer us business through Brokerkit, we just use the hashtag referred one, referred two, all that good stuff. And, we take them out for drinks. We talk to them about their business. Let's be honest, like they deserve we can give them a little bit more attention because they're making our life that much easier. The same way you would as an agent treat and give eyeballs, in the words of Gene Rivers, give eyeballs to the people who are your highest referral source. So that's one of the ways that I use Brokerkit is, one, it makes it really easy for them. They don't have to figure out what to do, no more screenshots and all that stuff. And then the other thing that we get to focus on is, being able to track it in a clean way. So I just use the hashtags. I mean, I'm sure other people are using them for other things. That's one of the things that we use for is the disappearing cap. So the hashtag feature is literally going in the agent notes for your agent or any recruit and putting a hashtag and then typing that in. What that does, it in essence tags them so you can search them using the hashtag. So like our productivity coaching program, once a new agent is onboarded, our agent services coordinator goes ahead and puts a hashtag PC program so that if we need to text them off for an update or something like that or invite them out to something, we just use the hashtag. And you want to put it in the notes. That's where it's most easily searched.
If you put them in the permanent notes, it is going to be indexed in search. And so that's how it works the best. So Lacey will show you.
Yep, you're going to want to make sure that you put them right here into your agent notes. So for example, if I were even here over in retention, I can put in 2018 ALC into right here. They'll pull up just my ALC, and now I can group select them. I can shoot them a text, an email, and anything that I tag, I'll tag right here.
So the other thing you can do is, I think a lot of people don't pay attention or enough attention to the export feature. So if I go here and I just look at my referred date, I'm just using advanced search right in recruiting. I can see everyone that was referred today. I'm going to grab all those leads and then I hit download CSV. When I download that CSV, in the export, there's extra data that we don't expose right in Brokerkit. So right here, what I did is I just created a list of everybody that sent me a referral this month. So if what I wanted to do was then take that list and, I would probably just take that and sort it A to Z. And that now I've got a list of everybody that sent me a referral this month so that I can give them a call, or maybe I invite them to a happy hour. Super easy way to manage that data and use our referral tracking to help keep you in front of those people. And then, so Jim asked a really good question, Isaac, and I'd love to hear how you guys are handling it, which is which agent gets credit? So if two agents refer the same mega, how do you decide who gets credit for the disappearing cap?
So usually, it's pretty simple. Sponsorship, right, is we want that agent to answer the simple question. I don't know if y'all answer it or ask it this way, but the question that we ask is just, who was the most influential person in you deciding to join Keller Williams, right? If you can't trace it back to who actually made the first referral, because for me, it's tracking through Brokerkit, right? Like whoever put it in Brokerkit, we teach people how to treat us. I want to get my leads not in a screenshot of 17 text messages that they send a text to me on. I want to be able to see who actually sent it. So in that case, if you can't really trace it back to who entered it into the system or sent it first, and they both have a relationship with them, it comes down really to the conversation that I have with the agent, which is, and this is the conversation we have with every single agent anytime they sign up. When they're choosing their sponsor, we say, who's most influential? It's really the first person you talk to. It doesn't have to be the last person you talk to. It's who actually got you excited about Keller Williams. And a lot of times they'll say you did, but obviously we're going to deflect that. We want more referrals than we need sponsorships. So that's the way we're handling it. And to be honest, whenever things kind of get there, they're independent contractors and business owners. Honestly, that's a conversation. If they're going to get into it and start playing the blame game, I say, look, let's all sit down and talk about it. You guys are two adults. Let's figure this out. So that's really the way I'd handle pretty much any conflict between two agents. But Brokerkit, again, teach people how to use Brokerkit, then they know. I was the first one to enter that lead in there. It's pretty simple, right? So,
and then there's a question, what is the disappearing cap? And the short answer to that is your market center may make a decision that when an agent refers another agent who joins, based on the last 12 months production of that agent that joined, we would reduce the agent that referred them's cap by the amount that we believe this new agent will pay in the next year based on previous production.
Yeah.
Kind of
so Shane and Joy are both talking about the same thing, which is, would you ever split it? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to.
Yeah, and it's really just a growth play, and I think that that's a conversation you have to have with your OP, right? Like when we were like in massive growth mode and growing 25, 30 a month, we tried a lot of different things, and one thing that we found was incentives didn't actually make a big difference. Like if I told Isaac, hey, you're going to get a quarter off your cap every time you refer somebody, like maybe he gets excited about it, maybe he doesn't. But if he loves where he works, he's passionate about it, he's ingrained in the culture, he's plugged in and he's getting value, he'll refer 10x because of that than because of an incentive. And all of the studies and all the research shows exactly that. So understand that a lot of these things that maybe like a shiny object, like disappearing cap, for example, what really happens is the team leader latches onto it and they're like, oh man, this is the best thing ever. I got to go tell all my agents about it. And then for like the first time in a year, they lead generate and they call their agents and talk about disappearing cap and they get all these referrals. And suddenly their hallucination is that disappearing cap saved the world. When the reality is lead generation solved the problem, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And so, Isaac, there's a question from Shane, and I think you answered it direct to me. So Shane said, do roll over to the next year if they have already capped or if they bring more than 4 a year? And Isaac said, we roll over as well. So it sounds like there's some continuity in the way that's being implemented. And I think as more market centers and OPs kind of get hip to this idea, that it's really about growth and retention at the same time.
Well, so my thought on that is exactly that, which is, okay, we'll roll over the cap, and that only makes sense if the capper they bring in and the cappers they continue to bring in are actually going to stay, because we're also cap managing those cappers most of the time, right? And that gets into cap management and winterizing your market center. Now, if you don't have a culture that's going to support a producing agent to stick around when their cap kicks in because they went from a free ride to having to pay now, if you don't have the culture on it, this is all worthless. It's actually going to be probably a loss for you in the end of it. So nailed it.
So I'm curious, how many of you type the word I in the chat if you've cap managed a $10 million plus producer recently? I mean, we cap managed in the 4 years Isaac and I were recruiting side by side. We cap managed, I don't know, 125-ish cappers.
Yeah.
And I think we had, I can think of them, 3 that like just pulled the ripcord and ejected before we got our money back.
Yeah.
And all 3 of those were because we cap managed somebody that we shouldn't have cap managed. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. If that's the only reason they came aboard, then they were just looking for a free ride to begin with.
Yeah. So I think the 60-second on cap management, and Isaac, tell me if this has changed. I always use cap management as a closing tool. So it's like, to me, here's the finish line. When I got to recruit about here, I would use cap management to get them here. I know a lot of team leaders try to lead with cap management and like start the conversation. I never saw that as effective. And so what this looks like is it's like, if Isaac's my recruit, I'm saying, so Isaac, are we going the right direction? Do you feel comfortable and confident that we can help you grow your business? What hesitations do you have? And we kind of work through everything and he's good. And I said, well, here's the last thing that we need to address is, because of your production, the question isn't will you cap, it's how fast will you cap. And from our economic model, we need to manage that, and we stagger our cap resets to manage our cash flow. So when we do that, what that means is there's going to be a period of time after you join where I'm going to need you to ask you to start off at 100%. And what that means is you're going to have a period of time to almost try it before you buy it. And so the next time I need somebody from now is actually February. So what that means is if you sign today, all you'll pay from now to February is the $3,000 royalty cap at 6%. And everything else you do will be yours to keep. And that also kind of helps because I know you're going to have some transitional costs with signs and marketing materials and rolling it all over. And so this way that cost isn't all on you. We're sharing in it that way. Mm-hmm. And so what I did with positioning that way is I got them really close to the end, and then I gave them a pretty big carrot to get them across the finish line. But I also pre-handled the objection of, will you pay for my signs? Will you pay for my business cards? Will you pay whatever, right? And with Compass coming to a lot of these markets, offering interest-free loans to agents and writing them big checks to join, my OP was Chris Heller, and that's now Isaac's OP. And we were not allowed to write an agent a check for even $1 to get them over. So we had to be very purposeful in the way we leverage cap management. So has any of that changed, Isaac, or is there anything you'd add to that?
No, that's spot on. It's a conversation. I just had that conversation yesterday with the capper, and yeah, it was exactly that. You bring it up, and what I would say is I think the key is positioning it as I need you to be cap managed. You just get to benefit from the fact that I need to stabilize my cash flow throughout the year. It's a business. It's based on our business model. It's a business decision that I'm going to make anyway. You just get to benefit from it. People, they're like, whoa. So.
Yeah. So I want to talk, and I'm going to shift gears a little bit here. And if you guys have things you want us to talk about, throw them in the chat. So what kind of best practices or tips and tricks could you give around retention and the MCA being involved? How do you guys do that? Yeah.
So one of the things, I think it actually the conversation starts before that. And it's with director of agent services, whoever is doing onboarding. So I'm always hesitant to promote, even though I'm clearly promoting Brokerkit, to promote Brokerkit as the pill that solves everything, right? However, objectively, 6 months prior to Brokerkit, every single staff meeting, and you were there, Jeremiah, every staff meeting was about onboarding, right? Because we're recruiting 30 people a month, 25 people, 19 people a month. We have every onboarding system you can imagine. Just like a real estate agent breaks their systems when they finally start picking up in volume, it's falling apart, things start slipping through the cracks. And so with Brokerkit and also the career visioning, using that on the onboarding process helps solidify and really gets people primed for the interaction that they have through Brokerkit and with the brokerage. So starting with agent services, when onboarding, when we recruit them, we put them in and we follow the onboarding process just like we should. We use smart campaigns, and those people then are connected with myself, with the productivity coach, director of agent services, and the MCA through a campaign, right? So we pre-shoot some videos, we send out some emails, we have some links, all that fun stuff. And then the way we leverage it with the MCA really being the linchpin is just like lead generation in your business and in your team and on your recruiting efforts. It's who are you equipping to make calls and touches all the time? So we have kind of a hierarchy. We're always looking for, do we have any referrals that we need to hand out? Who is on the cap management? Who's about to get off of, who's about to start paying their cap again? Right? And we're constantly looking like that. And so we have a hierarchy of, okay, here's ALC members that are about to start paying cap again, or about to start paying company dollar again. What do we have? What conversation are we having with them? And we kind of just go down the road because the productivity coach should be handling newer agents and doing all that stuff. So that's really what we do is we use the data that the MCA has with hey, who do we really need to get our arms around, right? Because we know after selling season, during the holidays, and when agents are their cap reset, they get a little squirrely, right? The question has to be asked, what's going on or whatever it might be. So that's one of the things that we use is we use the MCA's insight into what's going on in the finances of these individuals' businesses or the team's businesses. And then he or she, and right now it's a he, will go ahead and assign certain key members of staff, whether it's they have a relationship with them or they have some insight into their business. They'll say, here's the 2 to 3 people that you're calling. And again, we used to do it like the system worked on paper, and we never had any accountability around it. So we didn't know if it was actually getting done. But in Brokerkit, you can actually assign it to them and then, put those notes in there. And then the other part is the continuity of the conversation. I can look back and see the last 12 conversations they had with the MCA, with Director of Agent Services, Assistant MCA, the Compliance Director, the broker. I know exactly where they're at. I'm up to speed before they even pick up the phone. So does that answer what you're talking about?
Yeah, I think it does. So now, Isaac, how do you guys use, I know every day we get the emails about like retention updates, and I see the quantity of comments that are in your guys' feed at Carmel Valley versus everybody else's. So how do you drive the staff to actually use that? Because that's what it looks like is happening. Yeah, so one of the main things is that we absolutely have the conversation every day. Log your notes. And it's not about the activity. It's about what that means, right? If you want to make sure that you have the best life that you want in this market center, because that's where you want to be. This is where you chose to be today, and you want it to be an A+ experience every single day. Well, it's going to be, right, the quality of the conversations you have, and why wouldn't you want to know what's going on? Why wouldn't you want to be able to look back and see those notes? So in other words, if you would like to have better conversations with the agents and thus increasing the customer service and your experience as a person in this market center, then you would want good notes, right? Great. So let's enable the other person that we consider an A player, our team member that we're doing life here in the market center with. Let's enable them to have great conversations by keeping notes. And then the other thing is they do know that we track the notes, right? It's not just this touchy feel good thing. It's, look, we expect that. We expect nothing less than for you to log every single conversation. So it's the other way we do it is when we see somebody having an agent a conversation, they pull us aside and go, oh, so-and-so just did this, or they're on fire right now. Okay, great. Make sure you log in Brokerkit, right? It's the conversation where we're constantly getting their razz up around. It's just what you do. That's the standard that we function under. And I want to give you guys some insight into why we did it the way we did it. So my brother-in-law works for a company called the Ritz-Carlton. I'm assuming some of you have heard of that, right? Their Brokerkit, if you will, is called Mystique. And the way that they use Mystique is to create interactions that in the absence of data would be impossible. And so I want to give you an example. So when we stayed at the Ritz in Marana, which is actually where I am today, we're at our house here. And we checked in, and we had this really killer pool day. And we were hanging out, had a great time, had some pina coladas, kids swam, it was fun. The next day, we went and we sat down at the bar in the afternoon to get a snack inside, totally different park, totally different people. And the bartender comes over and he goes, hey, did you guys want a drink? And we say, yeah, we'd love to get a drink. And he goes, great, I'll take care of that for you. Do you want a pina colada and a Dos Equis? And my wife and I just looked at each other and went, did you tell him that? And we said, no. And it took a minute for us to understand what had just happened. But what happened is the first person that helped us took good notes on what we wanted, what we asked for, and how we did it. And the comment that we made the day before was how good the pina coladas were, and that, I didn't like it, I liked my beers. And those notes went into their system that then the bartender read, that then came to us. That's how you create the world-class experience for your agents, is when you have one of your agents that has a big win or something happening, that you're making notes, and then the habit is just that, oh, hey, I see Isaac is coming to the Facebook class with me today. I'm going to do a little recon and go above and beyond to create a different experience for him. There's a guy by the name of Todd Duncan that wrote a killer book called The $6,000 Egg. That we read that as a staff. And it's how something as small as an egg can cost you or win you $6,000.
Jeremiah, I wanted to interject real quick and show just a prime example of what you're talking about with these notes. So here's somebody on their ALC, and just to show you what kind of notes they're really taking, it shows you here, Whitney talking about a class, Danielle talking about Faye's having a great day and what happened with her escrows. Whitney again, a few days later making another note. So they're all individually making these really great notes to really provide that kind of experience. So it is true what Jeremiah is saying. Jeremiah and Isaac really laid the foundation for creating that type of experience for all of our agents.
Thanks, Lacey. That's super helpful. So Robin asked, how can agents best use the landing pages? And there's a couple ways. Number one is, I think Dave Domingos in Carmel Valley is one of the best at this. It's on his email signature. Basically, it's just a link and it says, curious about Keller Williams, click here, and they go through his landing page. I've seen some agents run Facebook campaigns, so they'll take and export like a list from their local real estate board of emails or cell phones, and you can create a custom Facebook audience out of those and then run a targeted campaign to drive those to the landing page. Another way that I've seen that was actually really cool is they went to the local real estate school and they gave the agent spoke and then they did what's called a permanent 301 redirect. And so you go to GoDaddy, you buy a custom domain. So like Jeremiah helps you get started in realestate.com or whatever it is. And they did a redirect from that direct to their landing page. So they would go speak at the real estate school and say like, hey, if you have more information, follow up with me and go to jeremiahhelpsyouinrealestate.com and check it out. Another great one is Bev. And most of you know Bev. She teaches recruiting great agents. She has 3 huge, productive, amazing market centers up in the Northwest. Her teams actually took their Brokerkit landing pages and I framed them into their other websites so that as people are going through their websites, when they land and fill out the form, they go right straight into the Brokerkit CRM. Now, I want to go a step further than the Brokerkit website, the Brokerkit landing page, and give you something that we did in Carmel Valley, and this will be one of the campaigns that we will help you all create. And Jennifer, I'll answer you in just a second. So, actually, I'll let Lacey answer that in just a second. So one of the coolest things that you can do is leveraging Brokerkit, Smart Campaigns, and Calendly or Eventbrite. And so one of the things that when we would get new licensee leads, we would put them on a Smart Campaign and some recurring event every Monday that started at 1 and went until 3. And from 1 to 2 was our team meeting, and 2 to 3, we would do like a quick new agent touch base with however many showed up or however many didn't show up. Do you guys still do that, Isaac? Yeah. So then what we would do is we had a campaign and it would run and it would send them, when we put them on this campaign, it would send them a text and say, hey, I got your inquiry about getting your real estate license or about joining Keller Williams and checking us out. Would love for you to make it to our event this week. And then the next day it would send them a follow-up email with the same thing with a link to the Eventbrite. And then we would text them and then we would email them. And so what ended up happening is I could get a list of new licensees from the real estate school, throw these people on a Smart Campaign, and then literally I would just walk in and do my team meeting. And at the end of the team meeting, there'd be 3 or 4 people sitting there. And it's like, it's almost like artificially intelligent recruiting. It's amazing what you can do by combining a couple different things. So Lacey, can you answer Jennifer?
Yeah, absolutely. So these are your agent notes here. So you can put these in for your pipeline report. Then in terms of creating a note, you're going to push here, and then you can toggle between shared and private. And that goes for any communication you have. You go to log an appointment, shared and private is toggled right here. So that's for your notes. In terms of the landing page, you're going to click up to your name, down to landing page, and this right here. The Carmel Valley has a standard one right now.
So Isaac, looking through the rest of these, the notes that we reviewed in preparing for this, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about how your productivity coach is leveraging Brokerkit and how they're using it, if it's even any different than how the team leader uses it.
So productivity coach for sure uses it. Well, first, the big push right now in productivity coaching is you need to be also recruiting, right? So I was actually in a productivity coaching mastermind on Friday at Megacamp. And one of the things they said, the first question they asked is, who in here is a productivity coach and also grosses 5 or more recruits a month? And out of like the 40 people that were in the room, 2 raised their hands. So I think one, they're for sure going to use it on the recruiting end as well. And they should be using that because again, you want to make sure that you have rapport with the people that you're bringing into your program. And so recruiting them is arguably one of the best ways to make sure that you do. Now, the way that they're using it in a different way is really the retention notes, keeping their coaching notes on file, being able to really just keep that consistent interaction with them on there. And that's what I was saying earlier when I said we use the MCA data to identify like key people that we want to get in touch with in a strategic way. And the productivity coaching program, they just need to be on their people on a regular basis. And so they're using it almost in the same way that a recruiter is, in that they use the hashtag, they pull up the people in their program, they communicate to them in mass and then also one-on-one. And you get to see, again, all the interaction that's happening outside of your program. When they talk to agent services, when the front desk person got them their business cards, right? Like that's a big deal. Those little things that you and I know aren't ever going to win them any business, but they might think they do initially. You're able to see that. Say, oh, we were on back order. Like this literally just happened to a productivity coach. They asked their agent to go run they were going to ask their agent to go do open house. And they saw a note in Brokerkit that said, oh, their open house signs had a typo on it and it wasn't their fault. They approved the right proof, but there was a typo in printing. And so the coach understood, okay, I'm not going to ask them to run an open house this weekend because open houses are, built for brand awareness.
Cool. So then when you and I used to sit down and I was your leader as team leader to assistant team leader, and I would go over your pipeline and we would do your weekly accountability. Give these guys a look. If you have Brokerkit up, can you share your screen and give them a look at like, how did we do those conversations? And maybe even what have you learned since then? Because I think that's the key for the team leader to actually be able to recruit cappers. You have to create leverage for the rest of your pipeline. And so the way you create leverage is by having accountability systems. So you want to show them some of that stuff, Isaac?
So whenever we go to pipeline, I mean, again, I know I'm singing the same tune, but it's the exact same thing that you would talk to your agents about their pipeline report, right? And so you're able to see where things going. So I didn't talk about this, but I'm actually already using the model that we used for training me up, and I've already hired somebody who's coming in and making calls for me and setting appointments, and he's good for about 5 appointments a month. He's fresh out of college, and so the conversation I have with him every single Friday is looking at the pipeline report, right?
So hang on just a minute. How many hires does Daniel have this month?
He has 6.
6. And are those all brand new?
They're all, well, he has 1 quarter capper that he recruited.
So he has 5 newbies and 1 quarter capper. How does he get paid?
So he gets paid per appointment, and then also now we're giving him some bonuses on recruits as well. So initially he's paid hourly, then per appointment, and then now we're giving him some of those. If he takes it from, I'm the only person who called him, I'm the first person that met him, I made the offer and they joined, now we're letting him get that bonus.
Okay, so what's his hourly rate?
So $15 an hour, I believe.
Okay, so keep in mind Isaac's in San Diego. So in the rest of the world, that's like minimum wage or less.
Yeah, well, and actually he started off at $12.50 an hour.
Okay, so basically very low cost employee, $15 an hour in San Diego is like $12 an hour in the rest of the country.
Yeah.
What does he get per appointment?
$25.
$25 every time somebody for a bona fide appointment?
Yeah, they have to have a license. They have to actually show.
Okay. So $25 for a bona fide appointment. What does he get when he hires them?
For new agents, he gets $125, and that's pretty much for new quarter caps and half caps. And if he gets a capper, we'll give him up to $500.
Okay, so 40 hours in a week, $15 an hour. He makes $600 a week. 52 weeks in a year is a base of 31,000. So it's $2,600 a month, right? So this month, you said he hired 6. So how many appointments did he have?
He is at, so let me look actually.
And I promise I'm going somewhere with it.
19.
So he's had 19 appointments. So he's made 19 times 25. So he's made $475 in appointment bonuses, and he's made $750 in recruiting bonuses. So that's $1,225 in bonuses plus his $2,650 base. So you've got how old's Daniel? Is he 21, 22?
He's 22. He literally just graduated college in May.
So you've got somebody we've brought on as a college intern that's going to make $3,800 this month. That our cap in Carmel Valley is $29,500. So a quarter capper is worth $73.75, and our average company dollar per year for a new agent hire is $3,000. So he hired $15,000 in new agent company dollar plus one quarter capper. So our $3,800 investment yielded us a $22,375 return for the month. Like I don't know of an OP in the country that wouldn't go stand at that ATM and put $3,000 into it every month and get $22,000 back out.
Oh yeah.
That's the leverage model that I really want you guys to get to think about. And it's possible by managing these accountability systems like what Isaac is showing us. So did I cut you off in the middle?
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, it's just a list of names. The reality is you rank them by who joined, who's coming next month, who's coming the month after that. And it adds that same degree of predictability that you should have, or agents should have, using the pipeline report in the business. Again, like one of my favorite things in the world that makes recruiting really easy is I don't do anything I wouldn't ask you to do. We're going to show you exactly how we do it because we do it every single day. So you have a pipeline report and I ask you to use it because I have a pipeline report and I have to use it. And so I really think that like the way I look at Brokerkit is 2 things. One, I use every button that's on it, which is why I like how it's stripped down and simple. I actually know every single button on my dashboard, and I actually use them all. And then the other thing is it's really like, hey, we're supposed to model the success through the market center that an agent should build their business around, and I do that. It keeps me focused. Like I don't have to move from tab to tab. I just stay locked in when I'm doing my lead gen and when I'm doing my follow-up and all that stuff. So I don't know, the pipeline report to me is that tool where you have that predictability and then you have that accountability with anybody else that you're hiring, right? So like Daniel, it's really easy to see if he's on pace. And the good thing is that right there, that pipeline report tells him how much money he's going to make next month and the month after. And maybe how much money he stands to lose if he doesn't get on the ball, right? So it kind of works out like the business has the predictability. I know what my numbers are going to look like. And then he can get excited saying, wow, I have 32 people that are likely to pop. Like we actually looked at his pipeline. I would be very shocked if he doesn't grow at least 10 to 12 people next month.
That's
and
cool.
I can only do that with the pipeline tool and the conversation.
Cool. All right. So I want to say thanks to Isaac and thank you guys for being on here. I'm going to take a minute to just, we've kind of started a tradition of giving you guys a sneak peek of a few things at the end. And there's one thing that we're working on that I'm more excited about anything else about. And Shane kind of tickled it a little bit earlier in when will smart campaigns be available. And I shared that we've made a decision to do that a little bit differently. Internally, we call that our hashtag war on spam. Like when eEdge first came out, I know a lot of you were in the company and you got super tired of getting this month in real estate. Just like I got a million of those. And I laugh internally because now when I see all my friends on Facebook posting about their new AI tool that can show you the stats for your zip code, I'm like, oh, it's the new this month in real estate. But, you know, we're committed at Brokerkit to doing stuff that is effective, top notch, and it's going to move your business forward, and just saying no to everything else. And frankly, that's why we've had so much success. And so one of the things that we've done is we've delayed this, and we've got a lot of feedback to the negative about delaying rolling out campaign templates. So those are coming. I know we're working on it. But the thing that we're going to do is we're going to be partnering very soon, and we've already come to agreement, and the paperwork's done. We're just building the pipeline and the infrastructure to do it with my friend Frank Klesitz and the guys over at Viral Marketing. And you're going to see a lot more coming out from us from Viral of best practices, tips and tricks. And I'm just going to show you guys exactly what we did. We were the first client with Viral to use them specifically for a recruiting campaign. And they still run it for our market center. And we get hires every month that just knock on the door saying, hey, I read your blog. I listened to your podcast. They just come show up. And so we want to give you guys a lot of insight into how we did that, how we continue to do it. So I'm excited for that. You'll see a formal announcement come out about us starting to work with Viral here in the next couple of weeks. And I'm excited about it. So thank you, Isaac, for making it awesome. We appreciate you guys. Your subscriptions and referrals to Brokerkit are what keep us cranking. So thank you all. Thank you. And we look forward to talking to you all soon.